Welcome everyone, Coach Yoff here with Aspire International Football Academy. Just wanted to go over another concept of formation that we do. Nothing really out of ordinary. It's a little bit more attacking, at the same time a little bit more aggressive. It's our 4-3-3. So kind of looking at it a little bit, we're in the blues here. So we have our fours in the back, our three midfielders, if you would, a little bit tightly close. Notice one of the important things as a coaching point, you want to make sure that these center midfielders, or midfielders, if you would, aren't stretching too wide at all, because you're leaving yourself with just pretty much one in the middle. So what you want to do is make sure these folks are sort of in around the area, kind of good communication going on amongst these folks here. You have your forward. And you have your wingers, if you would, or if you want to say your forwards and wingers, and that side. But the one of the benefits that we use this for is, again, we may notice a team that has weaker, or I guess I say weaker, but necessarily defensive players that are not necessarily comfortable with the ball. So what we try to do is switch it to this position a little bit so that we could get some of that pressure as the ball gets played here. I typically ask for this, let's say we're working on this side, I typically ask for this winger not to show the run a little bit, but basically stay a good distance here. Again, ball typically gets played short. What we want to do in this case, like I said, in this 4-3-3, the whole idea is that we want these wingers to apply the pressure on the backs, causing them to either make a pass to the middle, or in some cases they may try and play it over, or just play a ball that they're not comfortable with. So like I said, in this case, ball gets played here, pressure's applied here. We do want this player awareness to kind of come up here, because the only option that's going to typically happen, and I know I'm limiting some players here, I don't really have all the numbers on the field, but if I were to put down some players, at the end of the day, really what's happening is this, no matter what happens out here, this player is under some tremendous pressure from here, as well as coming in here, leaving this back, again, an option to play it long, which is a dangerous spot, or in some cases may even play it in here. Like I said, there's a Liverpool system. In some cases they do this a lot, but they'll end up picking off a lot of the balls in this area, and getting an opportunity there. So again, just a 4-3-3 in this system, just kind of applying the pressure. That's how we like to use it. We don't, we just kind of assess the defensive backs and kind of see where it makes sense. If we see a defensive back that has a little bit more touch, control, and kind of comfortable with the ball, playing it out, we may not go to that too much, or maybe think about it differently and create traps around different players. But typically we just kind of want to make sure that we have the winger apply the pressure so the ball gets played a long ball. The one quick note, though, that I would say about this is as you're doing something like this, you got to make sure that these folks are communicating, because what ends up happening is you're creating, as he applies pressure there, you're creating a huge gap between the winger here and the defensive left back here, or in this case. So you got to be careful not to have the ball get played over the top into here, and then you're in a counter situation. So there's communication that needs to happen from both the left back in this case, your midfielder in this case, to be able to pick up any kind of ball that kind of comes in this area, because you do want to make sure you keep the pressure on. Otherwise, you're putting yourself in a situation where you can get countered. There's a huge gap in this area, and then the attack comes on. So that's the only thing, is just kind of watching the gaps in between the pressure that comes on here. Okay? All right, thanks. Have a good one.